Testing. 1, 2, 3. Well, good morning. Today is Tuesday, April 21st, 2020. This is Stephen Wynn with the Loving the Coronavirus course, part of this project to heal the heart of America. And I'm honored that everyone's here with us. This morning, just to give a brief overview, as people still keep filing into the phone call here, is we'll be doing two things. We're continuing this work on the dimensions of the heart. The first week was did basic heart rhythm meditation and some variations there. And last week we did the elemental breathing practices to connect with the 5 underlying energies of creation. So this week we're focusing on the actual dimensions of the heart. Yesterday we worked on the width of the heart, sort of like from side to side, that dimension. Today we'll work on the vertical dimension, which is the height of the heart and the depth of the heart. And just to give you a broad stroke overview, when we have an elevated heart, really it's almost a normal, healthy heart. You just imagine like this big, energetic cocoon lifting way, way up. We become filled with idealism. We become very optimistic. We recover quickly from disappointment or depression. But mostly it's just to focus on ideals. We see optimism. We see opportunities rather than challenges. And it's a great, great quality to have. Really great. The opposite of an elevated heart is a crushed heart or a depressed heart, where the energy, the body, instead of lifting up, this cocoon of energy lifting up, it's depressed down, usually from betrayal or oppression. We end up with no optimism, no enthusiasm, no motivation. But just be aware, that's not a permanent condition of the heart. It's very treatable by these breathing practices and meditations. The other side of this is the depth of the heart. When we have a very deep heart, we become very empathetic. We really connect at a very deep level. We're moved by beauty. We're emotionally very honest. People with deep hearts are filled with compassion. They are natural counselors. And here it's where we feel the deepest feelings, not just the emotions. Like if we don't have a deep, deep heart, we might feel a loss. But a person with a really deep heart will actually feel this sense of separation from the One. It's quite an expansion of who we are to begin to feel at that level. Some people have shallow hearts. And that's usually from traumas in their childhood. It's not safe for them to go into the depths of their heart. They've been hurt too badly. And usually people with shallow hearts are actually pleasant, sort of superficial, easy to be with, but it never is the deep connection that we want with them, because they have this avoidance of the deep emotional, energetic connections. And again, it's treatable. We can change it. Actually, very quickly. You just have to heal the wounds of the heart, heal the traumas of their childhood, of their past. So that's the meditation side of it. The other theme that we go through here is we're going to continue with what we started yesterday in the one-on-one session, where we stirred up so much energy about the political system and the parties and the candidates and that sort of a thing. So let's just stir that pot a little bit to uncover our reactions, our resistances that we may not be aware of. So just welcome up. What's your first thought or feeling about how our government is handling this crisis? Easy for most people on the left to focus on President Trump or whatever country you're in. If you're in India, Prime Minister Modi, how's he doing? Or in Europe, whatever country you're in. I know we have some from Germany, sometimes some from Austria, sometimes some from England. So just whatever country you're in, look at your own system, look at your own parties, your own personalities. How do you feel about Congress? How do you feel about Nancy Pelosi, Adam Schiff, Mitch McConnell? Is the government doing enough during this crisis? Is the government doing too much? What should the government be doing? Should we be opening up? Should we be holding the course of safety? So just check to see who you like, who you dislike, what you want to change. And notice where you are right now when we start focusing on problems, on challenges. Even this, compared to focusing on the dimensions of the heart, has a different feeling, a different flavor for me. So just remember where you are, what your experience is, and let's see what happens as we move into our hearts. So let's start by sitting up straight, feet flat on the floor, and just touching our hearts. One hand on top of the other, over our hearts. And just allow ourselves to say good morning to our hearts. By putting our hands on our hearts, we create an energy pattern that allows us to easily refer to our hearts. So would it be okay with us if we spontaneously maintain this connection with our hearts 24/7? Maybe we can feel our heartbeat through our hands. Maybe by now you're just feeling it within your chest. We just don't judge ourselves. We just notice what's happening. Imagine a life where we don't judge ourselves. Sounds pretty nice, doesn't it? Would it be okay with us if every time we judge ourselves we go, oh, there we are again? Is that the deepest truth here about me, myself? And then we find a deeper truth. Well, maybe I didn't do too well in that situation, but I have a deep love for people. That's a deeper truth. We find ourselves judging ourselves and we go, oh, that's what my mind and ego are saying. What would my heart say about this? And we refer back to our hearts until it becomes a living reality for us, that we are living in our hearts. That's where we're going here. So just put your hands down, and again, notice where you are compared to a minute or two ago when we were stirring the pot. It doesn't take much to shift, particularly when we call upon the heart. So let's begin our whole process of heart rhythm meditation. Fran and Susanna Bayer wrote this book called Living from the Heart. It became a bestseller, translated in many languages. Really started, because now you see a lot more work on the heart. It really started that whole push. That and the heart math people. Have to give them a lot of credit. They've done great work. So, sitting up straight, feet on the floor, spine erect as much as is comfortable. Move the head around, pull the chin back, head forward till the spine is elongated, sort of floating. And just begin to notice the breath. How's it feeling this morning? This very old and dear friend of ours. How are your lungs feeling? Is it easy to take a full inhale? Breath shallow, full. How clear are your nostrils? These channels, that major shrutis, channels in the body, allowing the breath in to fill our lungs up. And now let's just begin with a full exhale, full inhale part of this practice. Exhale by pulling abdominal muscles all the way back towards the spine. And on the inhale, let the abdominal muscles loosen, relax. So we do abdominal breathing, and then the lungs may lift and fill. And always starting with the abdominal muscles, in and out slowly. And again, notice your state. What happens when we fill up with life force? How quiet do we become? How alert, how aware? Do you see how it just doesn't take much? That this is our natural state? So now again, let's begin the formal part of our rhythm meditation, where we connect the rhythm of our heartbeat with the rhythm of our breathing. Inhale to the count of, I always say, 8 heartbeats. Exhale to that same count. Feel your pulse if you need to, or just count. Full inhale, stately, majestic. Full exhale. Could be 6, 10, 12. If you find yourself doing a count of 4, you just want to make sure you're fully breathing, fully exhaling. Because certainly by now you should be up to a 6 or an 8. But whatever's happening with your body, we want to honor it. And we'll just do this silently for a minute or two. And again, notice your state. Notice your presence. Notice your atmosphere. What's the atmosphere in your room like right now? What kind of very faint energy do you feel in your body? We start to become very sensitive. as we connect to these rhythms. So I want to go into the square breath for a few minutes in preparation for our vertical dimension. So if you remember the square breath, we're going to inhale to the count of 6 or 8 or 10. Hold for twice that amount, and then exhale for the same rhythm. Sometimes called the diamond breath. So I'll lead you using the count of 6, because I think most people can do that. But go at your own pace. So just inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then continue in the same way. Inhale for 6, 8, or 10. Hold for double. And then exhale. It's helpful to do abdominal breathing. Feel your heartbeat. And you don't want to fill up your lungs too much. That causes you to want to exhale quickly. You'll experience that. And let's just do it for a couple of minutes. And just finish up the round that you're on. And just compare your experience after about 2 minutes of square breath to where you were at the end of heart rhythm meditation. Maybe you notice a difference, maybe not. For me, I just get deeper and quieter. Far more still inside. What happens for you? You are the ultimate authority here. Each one of us, a vast, illuminated spiritual being at our depth. And all we're doing is moving into alignment with that vast impulse of the divine that is deep within us. So let's start exploring the height and the depth of our heart. And what's going to happen here is, just like with, say, the swinging breath, or the width of the heart, we pulled an energy from the left off to the right. Here we're going to pull an energy above us, in through the crown, sort of like the water breath, into our heart, and then down through our body, down as deeply as we can go. And then inhale, pull the energy back up into the heart. And then exhale, going back up. Reaching the height of the heavens. And then inhale, pulling the energy back in, filling up the heart. Keep with your heartbeat, keep with your 8 beats. Fill up the heart, then exhale down, 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 deep. Get to the bottom of the exhale. Inhale back up. Pull the energy up into your heart. And exhale. Let the energy rise up, way up to the celestial realms, as far as you can go. And then inhale, come back down. The interesting thing is, like I say, this is actually sort of similar to the water breath in a sense. And also the earth breath. The earth breath is taking our energy down into the earth and back up. My experience was, because intention governs a lot of this. What our intention is governs. I could do the earth breath and I could go easily down. Keep the breathing up while I speak, if you can. I could go easily down with the earth breath down to the center of the earth. Bring the earth energy up. Very well grounded. But when I started working on the dimension of the heart, I exhaled and I stopped about 3 feet below my body. There was like a floor there I could not go through. Earth element, I could go through it. It's a different intention. Here the intention is to develop the dimensions, the upward dimension, optimism, idealism, joy, opportunity. And then when we dive down deep, we develop compassion, empathy, emotional honesty, very, very deep, deep feelings. And just in case other people are on the phone like this, because I came from a tradition, 40 years of meditating, of building up my bliss body. I really lived in bliss. And the downside of that is I didn't have a lot of depth to my heart. That sounds crazy. I had a very good heart. I still do. But I had to keep doing this, and the floor kept going lower and lower and lower. But I'll tell you, this is all just disclosure here. I remembered, we put our mother in a Alzheimer's home. Very nice home. Very, very nice. Out in Oregon. Medford, Oregon. Probably one of the nicer ones in the country. And they had these incredibly dedicated, compassionate staff who just cared so deeply. And I remember just marveling, how could they find people who care so deeply? Because I cared about my mother, I loved her, but here I am living in bliss, and it's not hardly touching me, her condition. The empathy wasn't there. And you might say that's a good thing. Yeah, and there's a big, big cost to that. To not being connected to the depth of our heart. Because we want unity on every level. Not just on the level of bliss. Not just on the level of beingness, of consciousness. We want unity, that connection, at the very depth of our being. The depth of our hearts. I know this is a new thought for some of you, because we have this, it's common in this culture, now that we've imported this from the Vedic tradition, of meditating to experience more joy, more bliss. What's wrong with that? Nothing. But we want fullness. Fullness. So again, following the heartbeat up, the very, very height of our heart. Inhale. Fill up our hearts. And exhale, let the energy sink down deep, deep to the very depth of the heart. You may find that you stir up deep emotions doing this. Wonderful. Inhale from the depth. Bring the energy up into your heart. Exhale. Fill the heart up. It's almost like we're shaping a balloon here. And now just come back and rest in the center of your heart. And again, notice what's happening internally. Are there any sounds? Is there vibration? The interesting thing about the different traditions is, in the Vedic tradition with Patanjali and his Yoga Sutras, it's all about silence. When you look at the Sufi tradition, they have 10 different experiences of this energetic, of this silence, because it's energized. So my experience is, I hear and feel this almost ringing of a bell type of vibration. Other people hear sort of like a buzzing of the bees. or a roar of an ocean. It may be an energetic tactile sensation. I usually get that list of the 10 background noises and things people hear. But what we're looking for is fully energized silence. So I just invite you to notice what you experience as we move into the depth and the height of our heart. So now, from this depth of our heart, from this height of our heart, could we welcome this pandemic into our presence, into our atmosphere? Could we welcome this coronavirus into our atmosphere, into our heart field? However that virus looks to you, feels to you, doesn't matter. Could we just welcome the presence of this virus? And could we greet it from the depth of our heart? Could we see it from the height of our heart? Could we see it in its fullest expression of natural law? Could we see it from the point of, idealistically, here's what this virus would be doing? What great glory, what great intelligence could it be bringing to us? What great salvation. And you might look at the world and say, wow, this tiny little virus brought us to our knees, brought us to a place of knowing our connectedness, how we have to be one, or else we die alone. That's what the height of the heart sees here. The depth of the heart. What do you see in this coronavirus? When you move into empathy, when you move into compassion, how or what would you say to this virus as an advisor, as a counselor? Do you notice when you're good in that place, the depth of love goes deeper? The depth of love goes deeper. How does that show up for you? How do you feel it? And would it be okay for you? Would it be safe for you to live in this depth of your heart 24/7? And with that thought, the vision of the ideals come up. That's the height of the heart. Who would we be if we lived in the depth of our heart? Fully safe, fully compassionate, fully energized, and seeing the world with such optimism, loving kindness, perfection, seeing the perfection of the world. This is who we become as we build the depth of our heart, build the height of our heart. These divine qualities, optimism is one, compassion is one, clarity of vision, seeing the highest as a divine quality. That's seeing with the eyes of the heart. Would it be okay for us to step into this level of being, level of life, level of the heart? And check to see if there's any distrust of this, any disbelief. Whatever is in the way of your experiencing this 24/7, could you just welcome it up? Usually it's a thought or a feeling, maybe some sensation. And could you greet that with the depth of compassion? This is some energy that wants to heal, that wants to transform. It's our energy. Could we love it? It's our energy that wants to protect us from disappointment, perhaps. Could we love the intelligence within us very deeply that brings up these thoughts and feelings to heal, to warn, to protect? Could we just love them and honor them? Let them shift if they wish, or just let them be. So from this great depth of our hearts, let's look at our government for a few minutes. Whatever country you're in, I'll speak of the United States since most of us are Americans. But could you welcome up a vision of, an image of, the President, President Donald Trump? And just notice if there's a clutch with that. And if there's a clutch, if there's resistance, I would say most of this crowd is not going to find it easy to love Donald Trump. So I'm not going to even ask you to. Unless you want to. But could you go deeply within your heart and see Donald Trump at his very core being as this great spiritual being, just like the rest of us, living out his karma to the best of his ability, just like the rest of us. And if you feel a great deal of mistrust, could you just feel that feeling? Or horror, or terror, or whatever. And by the way, if you're a fan of Donald Trump, I know there's many people on the phone here also that are hiding out, but they're there. Think about Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff, if you'd like. Could you see them as great spiritual beings, living out their destiny, evolving as their hearts call for them to evolve? Can we greet them with compassion? The truth is, when I look at any of them, President Trump, Speaker Pelosi, Adam Schiff, I don't see people that look really happy. I sense people who are almost more barely holding on to the vast chaos of the world right now, putting on a bright, confident face, but energetically I don't feel that for them. So could you just allow yourself to be at peace with the way the world is? It doesn't mean we can't act to change the world. We certainly can. But would it be all right with us? Would it be more powerful for us to be acting from the deep peace of the heart? I think we all know it would be. Some of us will have a huge rage rising up, particularly about President Trump. Could you just welcome that up? Be with that. And allow it to be perfect just the way it is. Would it be okay with you if you use this energy to fuel your action toward your ideal, what the country should look like? Take advantage of it. It's there. Or let it shift into peace. It's your choice. You are the authority. Could we look at how the governments, state governments, federal governments, are handling this crisis? Maybe shut down too much, maybe not shut down enough. Maybe coming out too soon, maybe not ready to come out at all in terms of opening the economy. Could you allow your experience to be that of a person living in the depths of your heart, the height of your heart, and allowing the collective to make the decisions for the collective? Because ultimately that's how it is. Nothing happens without the will of the people. And it's an energetic process, not just a balloting process. Nothing happens without the will of the people. See if you have resistance to that. I think all of us will understand that and agree with it, but we may not like it. When our will is not aligned with the larger will of the people. This is an invitation to surrender that resistance and energetically move into alignment, still holding on to your ideal. Don't let that go. But let go of that resistance that keeps us separate energetically, and add even more powerfully our ideal to the collective ideal. That's what we're doing here. Come back into our hearts. From our hearts, could we just send blessings of love and wisdom to every government official? Or just blessings of right action, blessings of discernment, blessings of clarity, And which feels better, to send a blessing to our government or to denounce our government? It's pretty obvious. Would it be okay with us if we become aligned with our deep spiritual nature and become beings, heart-centered beings, who bless 24/7? Bless with our words, bless with our silence, bless with our alignment to the One. I guess that's my ideal here for all of us. Heart-centered beings living powerfully and cleanly on the earth. Beacons of love, ushering in a culture of love, culture of the heart in America and the world. And with that, we'll just let that whole vision go. Let it sink into the absolute, into the universal heart. And just be very present with your heart. Feel the feet firmly on the floor, connected to the earth. And let's just end this meditation by sitting quietly for a minute or so. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. And notice your experience. I'm not trying to rush anyone, but I've opened up the Q&A session. You could hit *6 if you want to enter the queue. But I know it just takes time. I think about the people who have stepped forward, maybe a dozen people so far. And I'm just so grateful. Just really grateful. Someone's joined in this morning. I'm grateful because of where you take us. Where we went yesterday just stunned me. Both callers. Area code 352. Good morning.
Good morning, Stephen. It's Chris Raven.
Hi, Chris. How you doing?
Good. This session brought up so much emotion of gratitude and love for the whole world. I just want to thank you. Thank you for this meditation today.
Thank you so much, Chris. That is such a gift to hear that.
Very powerful, and I'm so grateful for this group, for what you do. It's such an awakening, and I'm so blessed.
Well, we'll take this as a big gain for you. Is it okay with you, Chris, if you feel this and then let it go to allow something even more profound to show up?
Yes.
Good. And could you do that again? Could you let whatever you're experiencing go and allow it to get deeper and better?
Yes.
Nice. And once again, Could you let this experience go, whatever you're experiencing, no matter how glorious it is? Is it okay if we let it go and let it get even better?
Yes.
Yes. And what are you experiencing right now?
There is so much heat in my heart that's expanding out.
Nice. Can you let it expand out even further?
Yes.
Yes. And expand out even further still.
Yes.
And even further still.
Yes.
And what's your experience right now?
There is this immense calmness. And it's like the words that come up is so infinite, so expansive.
Nice. Is it okay with you if you recognize this as being close to your true nature?
Yes.
And is it okay with you if you live in this space 24/7?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
You bet.
Bless you.
Blessings to you too. Thank you so much for speaking up, Chris. Really
Oh, thank you. Thank you
appreciate
for what you do.
it. All right, Chris. Thanks a lot.
Have a
Okay.
blessed day.
We have another person here. Good morning. Jean, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Let's see.
Great.
I went to visit my grandson yesterday. I didn't go to visit him. I went to pick something up at their house, and of course, can't see him or be close to him. And I would like the opportunity to be able to FaceTime him or something, but for some reason, I keep forgetting to even mention to him. And my daughter's she's reluctant to. She doesn't always answer my questions if I send her a text. But I would like to have more, because it made me sad last night, because he's feeling isolated, being at home, and it made me really sad last night. So I would like to be able to release that I'm able to FaceTime him, at least, till we get through this.
So good. Good.
Or, see him in person, whatever.
Good.
But my daughter's fearful of me getting the coronavirus, so...
So let's look at this, and for everyone, because what I'm hearing is you're feeling a lack of connection. You can't connect.
Right.
So could everyone get in touch with that feeling? Who do you want to connect to, but you just can't seem to connect? Whether it's because of the virus, or because they don't want to speak with you, or whatever it is. So, Jean, for you, this lack of connection brings up sadness, right?
Yes, it does. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So can you get in touch with that sadness?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you ever felt sadness before?
Not like I did last night.
Nice.
I mean, I happened to drop off some money from Easter egg hunts that I left. And my daughter said, "Oh, come pick up some muffins," which was highly unusual, which was, a gain in itself.
Yes.
For her to, come pick up some food type thing. They live about a half hour away from me. But the sadness, I may have felt it, but not like I did last night.
Good. So can you go back to the sadness you felt last night?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It was so profound. I mean, so I could see my other granddaughter, but not him.
Yeah. I get you. Parents have different rules for their kids and for you. How they want to protect you also. So
right.
Here you are, that deep, deep, deep sadness you felt last night.
Mhm. Yes.
That comes in from the depth of your heart. Now let me ask you just a discriminating question.
Okay.
Would you prefer you could never feel that depth of sadness, or would you prefer you can feel that depth of sadness?
I just feel the depths of sadness, and I guess it shows that I love him so much.
Yeah. So
Intensely.
could you allow yourself to have a very deep and open heart?
Yes.
You can allow that just as an intention.
Yes.
Can you welcome up that sadness, that deep
Yes.
sadness, okay? And could you just be with that sadness? Open your heart to it. Allow
Yes.
yourself to be with it.
Yes.
Do you notice that it's actually safe to feel an emotion like that?
Mhm. Okay.
You get that? It's not going to kill you.
Not entirely.
Okay. So
Honest.
good. So good. What's check to see if you have any fear or any disliking, or just a sense of don't want to feel it.
I think he feels the same way. I think it's both of us, and I could feel his sadness too.
I got you.
Because he wants me to be there.
Yes, and that's from having a deep and open heart, isn't it?
I imagine so.
If you don't have a deep heart, you can't empathize like that. So is it
Yes.
okay with you if you feel the sadness of your grandson?
Yes.
That
Yes.
is okay, isn't it? Yes. That's
Oh,
definitely
yes.
yes. Could you greet your own sadness with the same sense of certainty that it's okay to feel that?
Yes.
Yeah. You want to be connected with yourself at the deepest levels, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Right. You want to, no point in shutting yourself off and burying
No.
those feelings, right? So could you welcome up that sadness again?
Mhm. Yes.
And this time, could you give yourself some love and approval for your willingness to go deeply within your heart?
Yes.
Yeah. And could you give yourself some more love and approval?
Yes.
And more love and approval.
Yes.
And as you give yourself love and approval, what happens to the intensity of the sadness?
It dissipates.
It dissipates, doesn't it?
Yes.
So would it be okay with you if you could feel these deep, deep, deep feelings, love them, be at peace with them, love yourself, and allow them to dissipate?
Yes.
That's okay, isn't it?
Yes, I can allow it.
Yeah. And would it be okay with you to use these deep, deep, deep feelings to connect empathetically and energetically with your grandson?
Yes.
Yes. So could you connect with the love that you have for your grandson right now?
Yes.
Yeah, could you connect a little bit more?
Yes.
And more.
Yes.
Now, it's wonderful to be with your son. And compare that to connecting deeply at this energetic level. Can you see they each have their own value?
Okay.
Yeah. So would it be okay with you if even if you can't connect with your son on the surface of life, that you connect deeply and energetically with him?
Yes.
That's
yes.
okay, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, your daughter doesn't seem to be helpful in terms of electronic, internet connection. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, she just doesn't respond to me or my other daughter.
Right.
She just doesn't respond to either one of us.
So
Let me ask her, are you coming over for, let's say, Easter dinner, just for an example?
Yes.
And I may not get a response because she hasn't made up her mind or her husband hasn't said, oh, let's do it or not. But of course, where I live, you're not supposed to be doing anything.
Right.
Getting
So
my vegetable plants.
are you wanting to control how timely she is in her responses?
It's not a matter of timely, but also being responded to. Acknowledge me, damn it.
Right. Right. So
acknowledge me one way or another. It's to be helpful because we're both frustrated by that.
Is this wanting approval, or is this wanting to be safe, or wanting to be in control?
Yeah, it's wanting approval.
Yes. So could you welcome
I feel as
that?
if it's disapproval because that's why she doesn't respond to me.
Yeah. I get that. So can you check in and find that lacking feeling?
Oh yes. Yes.
And do you like that lacking feeling?
Of course not.
Right. So would it be okay with you if you just greeted that lacking feeling with presence and with love?
Yes.
And let that shift.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Let it shift some more. Yeah. And does getting mad at your daughter cause her to love you even more?
I guess it just caused more sadness is what it really has done.
Right. So
that's really what it is, a sadness that we want to be in touch with her, but she chooses not to be.
Yes.
For whatever reason.
For whatever reason. I get it.
It's both of us, my other daughter and I, we both feel that way.
I get you.
Okay.
So could you allow yourself to let go of that frustrating feeling?
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Let go of it even more?
Yes.
So let me ask you, when you see an angry and frustrated person, do you want to run up and connect with them?
Not particularly.
Right. So here's your daughter seeing you and your sisters being, angry and frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So are you more likely to have a connection? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So could you let go of this frustration and anger?
Yes.
Let go of this judgment?
Yes.
Yeah. Let go of being a victim of your daughter?
Yes.
Yes. And because that isn't working, could you give her some love and approval?
Yes.
And more love and approval?
Yes.
And more love and approval?
Yes.
So imagine giving her so much love and approval that she just says, "Oh, I have to call my mother." Would that be okay with you?
Oh, it would be fantastic.
Yes. So could you give her some more love and approval?
Yes.
And more love and approval?
Yes.
And even more?
Yes.
Yes. And how do you feel about your daughter right now?
Oh, wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Okay. So the great opportunity she's giving you is to move into your heart, move into being more loving all the time. Okay? You see that?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
She's isolating herself so you can move into love. And you're her mother, you can teach her love, right?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. And you do that not by preaching, but by loving, right?
Right.
Okay. So, do we need to go anywhere else here?
No, not at all. Not at all. Well, wait a minute. Wait, let me take that back. And I might be beating the dead horse. It's when my other daughter keeps saying stuff to me about it, and I try not to keep her going down that path.
Yeah, so you're not happy with how your other daughter's behaving.
That's exactly it, because it's like, you're not in her shoes. You don't know what's going on in her life.
I wonder about the mother of these two daughters.
And what about the mother of these two daughters?
I'm joking, Jean. What did the mother teach these daughters?
I don't know.
I don't know. And, kids have their own energy. and they sound like wonderful, normal daughters, by the way.
Yeah.
Normal.
Well, I may have been
stuff.
more like that other daughter at one time, but not so much.
Not so much. No. I'm joking.
No, and I've tried to tell that to other family members. I came from a large family. My brothers and sisters, like, hey, you know what? Maybe this is going in their life, and maybe you should be looking at this perspective. And everybody's fought me on this issue.
So you remember Lester's comment. He says, whenever something shows up, he says, where am I responsible for this?
Yes, I recognize that.
Yeah. So listen, let's deal with your daughter here, your other daughter here. So
okay.
You sound like you're disapproving of her.
Yes, and that's the way I grew up, the way I was teaching her,
yes.
And I decided to,
yes.
And yes.
And you made a big shift in your life, so can we go a little further on that?
Yes.
Would it be okay with you if you let go of disapproving of this daughter?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, could you let go some more?
I think about the mother part.
Could you let go of disapproving of her some more?
Yes.
Yeah. And
okay, I'm bringing up some anger on this issue.
All right, good. Welcome it up.
I'm really ticked off. Like, Bridget, why do you act that way? Like, listen, I tried to show you a different way, and you just refused to. Yeah.
Yeah, so getting angry really teaches her, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
So can you welcome up the anger?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just anger.
Yes.
Could you look at this anger from the depth of your heart?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. And look at it some more from the depth of your heart.
Yeah. It's making me sad.
Yes.
It just is.
Good. So sadness is underneath the anger. Can you welcome up the sadness?
I guess that I taught them that. I guess that's...
Yeah. Yeah, and your mother taught you that, right?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And now you're teaching something new, aren't you?
Yes. I'd rather be something new for the whole family.
Yeah, so welcome up that sadness.
Yes.
And look at that sadness again from the depth of your heart.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you see the sadness from the depth of your heart?
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah, there is sadness. Yes, more sadness.
Can you see that?
So we've had to go through this for so many years to act that way.
Can you see
through the whole family?
Can you see this sadness has its own energy and its own intelligence?
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So could you just honor and love the sadness just like you want your kids to honor and love you?
Yes.
Yes. And honor and love the sadness some more.
Yes.
And more.
Yes.
And more.
Yes.
And what's beneath the sadness? Can you find anything beneath it? What's starting to show up underneath it? Or is it?
I don't know. I kind of like it's kind of like scraping my feet on this issue, and I don't know if it's approval.
Okay. So could you? It
could be an approval thing.
Good. Could you welcome up that lacking feeling of not having enough approval?
Right. Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. Welcome that up.
Okay.
Can you just let that go?
Yes.
Yeah. This cycle of wanting approval and being angry and sad when you don't get it. Can you see how that's played over and over again in your life?
Oh, yes. Yes. To such depth.
Would it be okay with you if you discriminated here and realized that wanting approval from other people is a losing game?
Oh, I know so.
You know that, don't you?
Yeah, they are who they are, and that's all there is to it.
And they are
stay in that place, that's what they choose to.
Yeah, and they're giving you as much love as they can.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, I guess this is sometimes a lesson you have to try and remember.
Right. So is
to
it
do
okay
the best
with
they
you?
can.
Is it okay with you instead of looking for love and approval from others, that you give yourself love and approval?
Yes.
And could you give yourself some more love and approval?
Yes.
And more love and approval?
Yes.
And more love and approval?
Yes.
And is it okay with you if you become such a loving person that you just give love and approval to your daughters and your family members and yourself all the time?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yes. And if you go to that posture, instead of asking for love and approval, instead you just give it, are you less likely or more likely to get love and approval in return?
More likely.
More likely. Yeah. What are you experiencing right now?
A sense of peace, and I'm just smiling on the inside and out.
Okay. I think that's a good place to end here, Jean.
Okay.
I think
Thank you very much.
I think you know what to do, and
I do.
you're really moving along there. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks so much.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. We have another caller here, area code 516. Good morning, 516.
Hi. How are you?
Hi. Good. Who's this?
It's Alex. Hi.
Ah, oh, yes. I see you. Okay. Hi, Alex. How are you?
I'm okay. I've had a lot of, I guess it feels unusual for me, a tremendous amount of fear. Like I can feel like a program coming up. You know, like I just started, I guess, this like a teacher's course with another releasing group. And like sometimes, you know, you can feel things coming up. And
yes.
I just feel this huge, it feels huge anyway. It's like tremendous fear. It's like fear of dying coming up.
Oh, I love
like
the fear
not
of
even
dying.
just like a little bit. I know, but it's like I haven't gotten so caught up in a long time like this. So.
Gotcha. So the invitation here is for everyone.
Yeah.
To get in touch with your fear of dying. So let me just ask a few questions. What's the worst way that you could die, Alex?
Well, you know what comes up a lot is very vain. It's I don't even want to get into it really, but it's just I think like fear.
Okay.
It's just a lot of fear of like, you know, the aging process or what happens. It's not. I don't know that there's a worse way to die. It's just like
it's okay. I'll ask it for everybody else because everybody else finds your own worst way to die. Okay, just to stir up that fear of dying. You know, is it growing old and dying? A decrepit and miserable last 20 years of your life? Is it, you know, mine was freezing in a cornfield in Iowa, starving to death, you know, snow on the ground, you know, and this feeling of failure that I hadn't provided for my family. That's how it was for me. So the invitation is to find your own, what scares you the most about dying, and then let's just welcome that picture up, that feeling up, whatever that is. So can you find it, Alex? Something to work with here?
Yeah, I just have the general feeling like
It's okay. So that general feeling for you, can you feel that feeling? And I'm going to, you know, today we're dealing with the depth of the heart. It's really useful. Could you look at that fear of dying, that general feeling, from the depth of your heart?
Yeah.
Yeah. You look at it. Allow yourself to look at it even more from the depth of your heart. And how does your heart look upon that feeling, that fear?
It becomes more soothing.
Yeah, it becomes more soothing.
You're open.
Right. Is your heart afraid of dying?
No.
It's not, is it? That's a
No.
big, big insight. So that leaves your mind and your ego to be afraid of dying, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So would it be okay with you if you looked at your mind and your ego from the depth of your heart?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a shift, isn't it? Could you look at it some more from the depth of your heart? What does your heart feel about your mind, ego? What comes up for you?
Well, right now, what I can feel underneath it is sadness. You know, I just feel tremendous sadness.
Yeah,
that goes
yeah.
the sadness.
Yeah. So, could you allow that sadness to shift into compassion? Would that be okay, or is that a stretch for you?
Yeah. Yeah, I could.
Good. Could you feel that sadness some more? And let that shift into compassion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And can you feel that sadness some more? And just be with it. Being with it's a way of loving it.
Yeah, it's like tremendous grief.
Yes. So that deep grief is a deep wound in the heart.
Yeah.
Who knows where it's from? Doesn't matter. Is it okay with you if you let go of that grief?
Yes.
Okay, and some people might say, no, I want to hold on to it. And that's okay too.
No, I want to let it go.
Good. So, can you feel that grief? And look at that grief from the depth of your heart.
Yeah.
Yes. And look at it some more.
Yeah.
Is there any there's that grief usually has a sense of loss. Something was taken from you.
Right.
Okay. And just check.
Yeah, it's like being taken. You're right.
Taken away, yeah. So that taken away feeling, just be in touch with that. And can you love the fact that you're a person who cares?
Yeah.
If you didn't care, you couldn't have any grief, right?
Yeah.
And would you rather be, I'm thinking of these poor sociopaths who don't feel. Would you rather be that, or would you rather be a person who cares?
Yeah, I'd rather care.
Of course, we all would. Is it okay with you if the depth of your heart expands to where you can care deeply for all of creation, for everyone, and still be safe?
Yeah.
That's okay, isn't it?
Yeah.
We can care and we can still be safe. And just ask if your deepest core part of your heart, your beingness, your deep spark of spirit within yourself, does it really experience the loss? Or does it?
No.
It doesn't really. Right, so this is just layers of ourself that are experiencing the loss.
Right.
And can we just recognize how incredible it is that we have all these layers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really? Really?
I know.
I mean,
it comes out out of nowhere.
Yes. And if, there's a tendency in modern spirituality to want to just transcend and get away from everything. And that has its place. I acknowledge that. But imagine the transcendent at one point said, this is boring, this is flat beingness, I want to create something. And that's who we are, every layer of this. Can we just appreciate that we can have these feelings of loss, of sadness, of joy, of compassion, the whole gamut?
Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about yourself right now?
I feel better. I feel better.
Nice.
I don't know what the program was about or is about, but it feels better. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter, does it? So, how do you feel about dying right now?
I guess the thing that I'm better. But I think what's bothering me is like the feeling of like just dying alone. Maybe that's what it is. Like just being lonely. Like this is a period of loneliness.
Gotcha. Can you welcome up that feeling and look at it from the depth of your heart?
Yeah.
Okay? And that last moment, or that period of dying, all that loneliness, can you love the fact that you can have those feelings?
Yes.
And allow them to be part of the wide array of experience of life?
Yes.
Yes. And do you notice there's a part of you that's not touched by those feelings?
Of course, yeah.
Yes. Is it okay with you if you honor that part of you that's not touched? A very deep part of ourselves, as well as honoring the process of feeling these feelings.
Yes.
Yeah, that's okay, isn't it?
Yes.
And just check to see, there when you're old and dying and all alone, that's the ego and mind feeling that loneliness, isn't it?
Right.
Right. The inner part of yourself, is that feeling alone and lonely?
No. Mm-mm.
No, not at all. Right. Would it be okay with you if you lived with such a conscious and deep connection with that inner part of yourself that any loneliness on the surface was just, like a cloud passing by? You feel it and it's there, but doesn't touch the depth of who we are. Is that okay with you? Yeah. And at the moment of death, are you alone or not alone?
I mean, you're all one. I mean, it's sort of like a dream that never happened.
Yeah, there you are. At the actual moment of death, and everybody can have their own truth to this, but most people say, when I ask that question, they say, no, I'm not alone at the moment of death. I'm not alone at all. Would it be okay with you if your heart was so deep that you could connect to all those beings and forces that are with you at the moment of death, all the while, even while your surface side feels lonely, that deep within yourself you are one and connected with these multiplicity of forces and beings in creation? Would that be okay with you?
Yeah.
Yes. So I look forward to being alone the last few months before I die. When you take on that statement, what comes up for you?
I feel fine. The one last thing about this is that yesterday and today I've been trying to let go of feeling stuck. I felt so stuck with this feeling coming up. So I'm okay about the rest of it. But the part that's hard for me is, like, I was stuck. I knew I was stuck. I was trying to let go of being stuck, but I kept being stuck. I couldn't get myself out of it. Which is wanting to change the stuckness. But it was like...
Right.
I was just
So,
stuck until the fall.
Would it be okay?
Whatever.
Would it be okay with you if you ever feel stuck that you look at that from the depth of your heart?
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'll do that.
Can you do that right now? Can you look at stuckness from the depth of your heart?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what does the depth of your heart feel about that stuckness?
Just very compassionate.
Very compassionate. So could you have compassion for that stuckness?
Yeah.
Yes. And could you have even more compassion for that stuckness?
Yeah.
Yeah. And even more.
Yeah.
And more.
Yeah.
So it's really same as sadness or grief or this or that. It's just a different flavor of how energy is being labeled, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah. So is it okay with you if you allow yourself to be more powerful than being stuck?
Yes.
Yes. Is it okay with you if you use the power of your heart to move forward in your life?
Yeah. It's a great idea.
It's a great idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. How are you feeling right now?
I feel much better. Thank you so much.
Good. So tomorrow we'll work on that forward power of the heart. All right. Alex, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Always appreciate when people call in. Okay. So that's about our closing time. I'm going to thank everyone. I'm going to
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you
so much.
for everyone who stepped up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen.
Okay.
Bye.
God bless you all.